palette. This is the main option. You can add threads and edit your current one. For mine it's listed on the first one, black, which I believe for DMC is 310. Because the last set of black and... well, it was supposed to be black and white threads, but it came out as black and ecru. You know, if I remember it had 310 for the black, so I had to convert it. And as I said, it was supposed to be white, but it was ecru, so I converted that, and I believe it was the 387 in my case, which is coffee, ultra, very light. It was one of the main original colours I bought, so yeah, I tend to remember that one. You can change how your symbols look, your font size. I think the default's 12. I'll sometimes put up to 14, but I just leave it. Standard default settings. This one's handy. It literally flashes them. I'll turn it off because I think it does only temporarily though. The other one I like is highlight, because what it does, everything else just gets its colour removed, and whatever you want it to look at turns red. It's handy for if you're wanting to like maybe change the colour of the odd square. You know, maybe replace it with another colour manually or something. And you're not too sure, have you found them all? It's a good way of checking that. Actually, 1 minute. That's supposed to be there. I just noticed that. I'll save for a second. It's a good thing I did do that. It was right in front of me and I never noticed. So turn that off. Get replace, blending, which if I'm not mistaken is when you take one strand of one thread colour and a strand of another, and that's how you do your 2-strand cross-stitch thing, or you can even do it with 3, but one, you know, they're different colours. If I'm not mistaken, that's how you get your blended. I could be wrong, but there's a lot of these things I don't do. Remove all stitches. Change back stitch to the active colour. Remove active thread from palette. Remove all unused threads. That's the most common thing I use. Or one of the most common ones. Especially if I'm doing a new pattern or I want to reduce the amount of colours. I actually kept using that for this pattern. Get duplicates, reduce count colour by 10, never tried it. Ain't got a clue what that is. Reorder your palettes. Histogram usage, don't use that. You can save your palettes, load palettes, brighten. Yeah, there's a lot of things. I'll actually show these in a second properly. Those that work on various other fabrics or whatever, they'll know what these thread families are. The only ones I know of standardly are DMC, DMC Metallics, Anchor, and Madeira. I've never used the latter, but that's the only one. Oh yeah, sorry, and DMC is it Variegations? Because I have some of them. But yeah. This is the first option I always choose, because as I said, the standard when you first load up as a new, load up for a new file is DMC. So I always turn this on and select Anchor Thread or Anchor Silks. I've not bothered to turn it, but you get all these various others. As again, people will probably recognise all these. I don't. I've heard people mention that light effects. Dinky dyes. I'm sure I've heard of that. Dimensions. I've heard about that being cross-stitch charts, because loads of folk mention about, doing dimensions charts. We've got all these other ones, Elizabeth thingies, Gentle Arts, JP Coats, was it Kreinik? I don't know how you pronounce it. The materials. Mill Hill beads, I've heard of them, because, well, it's beads. There's a lot of these. Weeks Dye Works. I think someone mentioned them. But yeah, it's as far as it goes. But yeah. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Again, markup I believe is new because, well, that's what that green square is. Basically, you highlight it and then click on something and it puts a check mark there. It's handy if, you know, like where people tend to use markers or whatever else just to, you know, well, actually mark off what they've done. That's the whole point of it. Replaces whatever's in your thing. Although I will say, watch if you've got fractional stitches and backstitch. Because I remember with one of my other patterns, I did try the markup thing, and it covers the entire square, so you might lose track of what other fractional stitches you have. So with them, I definitely recommend them for whole stitches or ensuring you've done like both parts of the fractional stitch or whatever. And maybe like have another print off that's got the back stitching showing. You know, so you can have that as a separate thing, and that way if you're doing the marking off, you won't lose track of it. Auto saves, your preferences. I don't get why it has changed to English when it's already English. Your help stuff. That I never have to select, because when I get that initial load up dialog box, in the bottom left corner it shows you the current version that's being used. But if there's updates, it'll actually replace what the version number is with update available. Thread editors, symbol editors. And that's just like any other blaming program that tells you what's open. Yeah. At current, I've got it on 80% visual. But I'm going to quickly show like changing the other threads and stuff. Let's drop it to 60. There you go. Now, this is definitely different to WoW. For example, there's a couple of colours that are supposed to be here that aren't. As I said, I'm just going to showcase doing colours. I've got baby blue ultra very light, which is okay. But its position is going to have to move. Now, if you notice, default view is colour blocks. I could, if I want, change it to regular symbols, like you'd stand and get in a chart, but yeah. Or there's colour symbols, which does make it awkward to see it, but when you shrink it down, it looks really good. You know, yeah, you can't see the symbols very well, but it's a good way of looking at the pattern. It looks really funky. The method I use, as shown in my print-offs, symbols on colour, we have stitch view, which I like. You know, it shows you what it looked like when you're finished. Tent view, for those that use it. You're halfway across each. Canvas, I ain't got a clue about this. It's kind of looks like it's been woven, but I don't know if that's supposed to be right. You know, it's almost as if someone took a paintbrush and painted the blown background. And balloons, that's perfect for if you're going to do a general beaded piece, or if you're going to use those Perla beads. Well, the brand's Perla, but they're actually called Hannah beads. H-A-N-N-A, I believe. But yeah, if you're going to do some sort of bead work, it's ideal for that. Especially if you're just doing a general cross-stitch pattern, but including beads. Yeah, it's brilliant for that. Anyway, back to what I'm used to. Here's again the main menu. Cross stitches, change your colour, your various fractionals, backstitch, another version of backstitch. It tells you down in the bottom what all these are. Drag, specials, quarter stitches I don't use them. Even if I've got like 3/4 stitches, I do 2 3/4 stitches. I've never used quarter ones because you can't see them. Yeah, I went and like just do on a scrap bit, see what it looked like, and you can't see them. Your French knots, or just knots in general, buttons, oval or rectangle, that's just given different shapes. This is a fun one. I'll showcase this in a minute when it comes to changing colours. But the line one, put in text, lettering, fill colours, auto do stuff. I've used that once, but I can't remember it much. Droppers. Works the same way as it does in any sort of full program. Select options, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. There's also one. You paste, undo, bright little life belt, your instruction manual, literally, and the markup. So that's basically what's in the program. Again, down here you got your display of your chart, and just as you change these, so does the little way this goes. It'll always show you a set of symbols. But again, that one changes the colour of the symbols to match the colour of the thing. And that puts the background colour to the symbols. Right, I'm just going to quickly, for showing off, change the colour of Reala's face. So I've got the baby pink ultra very light there, but I also need the baby pink very light, which according to, where's the key? It's around here somewhere. Is 9159 for the family I use. If you use DMC, obviously it's going to be a different colour. 91, there it is at the bottom. Select that, add it to the palette, select save. Come on, Vector. Let me do stuff. Got Jeremy. And this is where I'll select line 2 because it's easier. As I click on it, there'll be like a thin line appear. It's awkward to see because of the colour I'm using. That changes the symbols. This is why I like using symbol mode, because to me, can't always tell the difference. Actually, I'll put it back up again. There we go. You might be able to see it better. I'd do 100%, but that's kind of overkill. But I love this too. You just literally change, draw a wee line. You can even draw it diagonally if it helps. The current main colour here we have is white bright, which I believe in terms of DMC is B5200. In my case, it's just number 1, as it shows over here. But I believe that's B200. Or sorry, B5200. I'll probably have loads of DMC users out there saying, "You're wrong." I'm just guessing. Right, now that I've done that, I'm going to turn all these lighter shade. Oops, too far. It must be boring watching me do this, but this is how the program works. Oh, and if you do make mistakes, you can either click the undo, right click, which just, if I can get it to do it, just blanks the space in general. I'll left click there again. You use left click to put things in, right click to remove them. Or you give your standard keyboard controls the control, so for undoing stuff it's Control Z. Saving is Control S, yada yada yada. If you can use a word processing program, you can do all these standard keyboard shortcuts. Or if you're used to using them in such programs. Oh, better not change that one because that's the eyes. I'm keeping the eyes as white bright. Because they're, you know, the eyes. The clothes are white. I've put white for them. When I'm looking at the key, I can tell the difference between the white bright and this colour I'm using, but I look at the pattern and I can't tell the difference. So yeah, this is why it is handy for me using the symbols. Yes. Sometimes that happens, you don't fully click things in the right section or just in general. If it happens, just go over it again, or... Oh, here's an example diagonal. You just hold that, and then go in a line, and it does your diagonals. I'll put that in there. And diagonal. One more there. Oops, I forgot the square. Happens. I'm gonna quickly Control S to save. Comes in handy. Oh yeah, and apologies for periods of silence. I tend to do that when I'm using this program. Then again, I usually have some sort of background noise, be it YouTube videos or music or videos on my computer. Like recently I've been rewatching Pokemon hacking tutorials for Gen 3 because I'm thinking of going back to working on my hack again. I do that every now and then. Started it back in 2012 or 13. And I actually got pretty far. It's a Gen 3 hack of it's Fire Red. I got all the way up to doing Cinnabar. Oh god, that's close. Got all the way up to doing Cinnabar Island. And I wanted to sort out stuff on certain routes. Namely Route 24, 25 that leads to Bill's house. For those that, know the Pokemon games, they'll probably know what I'm talking about.